Okay, we're at Redland Fruit. Okay, now we're at Redland Fruit and Spice Park. Hi everybody, I'm Michael. I'm here today with my great friend Natalia.
Yes.
And today we're going to be talking about tropical fruit trees that you can consider putting in your garden at your home here in South Florida. And we're going to go on a field trip actually to Redland Fruit and Spice to take a look at the tropics. Behind us here we have Natalia's wonderful mangoes. Thank you for giving me some, by the way.
You're welcome.
So, you all ready to dig in?
Yes.
Let's
go.
Now we're at Redland Fruit and Spice Park, so let's go on a tour of looking at all these wonderful tropical fruit trees. Ready to do it?
Let's go.
Let's go. Redland Fruit and Spice Park, aka Preston and Mary Fruit and Spice Park, is a large park. And to help you get your bearings, I'm going to go and give you an overview of the park. It is over 37 acres, and we just acquired some more land, so it's going to get even larger in the future, which is great. It's the only ethnobotanical garden in the United States, and there's over 500 fruit, herbs, and spices. Such a cool place. The park is open from 10 to 5, but not during the holidays. One thing to be aware of, though, is that if you have food allergies or sensitivity to certain foods, check with your doctor so you don't expose yourself to something that could be a problem for you. The park was redesigned after Hurricane Andrew, and the prime consultant, Tammy Cook, a good friend of mine, as well as Karen Cheney and Chris Rollins, came together and helped redesign the park to what you see today. The park is broken into 6 main regions. There's the Tropical Americas region, the Mediterranean region, the Longan region, the Asia region, the Australian Pacific region, and the African region. Natalia and I have 8 great fruit trees we're going to review with you today. We're going to first start with the star fruit, then we're going to go over to the mulberry tree, then we're going to swing around and catch some jackfruit, then we'll move over to the longans, and then down into the lychees, and then over into mango row, which I love the mangoes. And then we'll swing around, catch some avocados, and then we'll check out the non-fruiting tree, the baobab, because it's just so cool. And then we'll finish out our grade 8 by checking out the guava. But we're also going to go over a bonus plant, the banana, because who doesn't love a banana? All right, now on to the tour. First up is the star fruit, also known as carambola. She's a pretty fast grower, and some varieties get a little bit taller than others. Here you can see some fruit developing up in the branches there. She likes to grow in full sun to part sun, and she prefers a well-drained soil. The carambola fruit is super exotic looking. When you cut it, it actually looks like a star. It's super, super cool. It has a unique taste, and it's got a waxy feel on the outside of the fruit. All right, now let's go over and see the mulberry tree. This tree is typically not grown down here that much. It forms a really nice tree to about 28 feet high by 20 foot wide, but it's more of a northern Florida tree. It grows in hardiness zones actually 7 to 10. But you can see they have a beautiful specimen here. And the fruit is really cool. The Himalayan tastes like candy. It's a really cool, unique taste. Okay, where to next, Natalia? Oh, I see. She's bringing us over to the jackfruit. This is amazing. Look at these guys. They're incredible. This is the world's largest fruit, you all. And the tree itself is no slouch either. She'll get to 60 feet by 50 foot wide. She gets big. She's a pretty fast grower too. She wants to grow in full sun, and she only does well in the deep south, zones 10 to 11. But these fruits, I mean, look at them. They're just so cool looking and so big. The fruit has this wonderful flavor, kind of like a creamy pineapple. I guess that's the only way I can explain it. And it's just amazing. Now, a tropical fruit tour should consider some citrus, but I'm going to save that for another video because there's a citrus greening issue we have here in South Florida, and I want to get with the IFAS folks and try to narrow down the best citrus trees that we can grow down here that are going to be hardy and resilient to the citrus greening. So please stay tuned to our channel because we'll be putting up that video in a little while. Now moving on to the Longan Tree. This is a relative to the lychee. Really cool tree. This could actually be a nice tree for your garden. It gets a real nice head to the tree. Really pretty. It's a moderate grower, doesn't get too big. She does prefer full sun and she wants more loamy soil. But the fruit is so cool. Very similar to the lychee. And they call her dragon eye because the fruit in the center, when you look at it there, it looks like it has a little dragon eye. Really cool. Now, speaking of lychee, let's go and check out the lychee trees. Oh, and by the way, you got to check out some of the views from the park. They're so cool, especially from the bridge area. Now, when we were coming upon the lychee, I almost walked past them because I didn't realize that they had cut down most of the trees, and some of them are growing back, but they have been infected by this lem, which is a parasitic microorganism, very hard to see, but it causes these tremendous blisters on the leaves and damages the fruit production. So they had to cut back these trees, and that's what we have before you. Hopefully these will bounce back. You can see there's a lot of new growth flushing out, and the trunks are painted white just to keep them from getting sunburned. The park staff told me that the lem infestation is getting really bad in South Florida, which is such a shame. But my neighbor's lychee tree is doing fine in Fort Lauderdale. When I lived there many moons ago in Fort Lauderdale, my neighbor has a lychee tree, and I just went by and look at her. She's still doing great. She doesn't have any signs of infestation. And I remember when Kenny had this tree fruiting, there would be so many people knocking on the door trying to get them. This tree was covered in lychees. It was amazing. The lychee fruit is milky white, and it has this sweet taste with a little bit of tart aftertaste. Really cool fruit, highly desirable. These are like super popular fruits down here in South Florida. Now we're moving on into Mango Row. Natalia and I are super excited about this because this is one of my all-time favorite fruits. The park staff also told us that they have between 180 and 200 different varieties of mangoes at the park. Mango trees are pretty fast growers. They actually make a great ornamental tree for your garden if you want to have them in your backyard or somewhere. You don't want them, close to a pool or something like that, because when these trees flower, they put on quite a show. And it's not advisable to have this right over a swimming pool because you're going to get a lot of flower drop. The mango is one of the world's most popular fruits, and there's well over 500 varieties of mangoes worldwide. Here's a picture I took back in 2019 when there was a tasting they did at the park, and it was so cool because there are just so many different types. And the popular Florida varieties that I love, and I think a lot of people love, are the Valencia, the Cary, the Atolfo, the Hayden. There's a Keat. Also, the Tommy Atkins is like a super popular one from Florida, but it's not the tastiest in my opinion. I really like the Florida varieties that I just mentioned, as well as these popular worldwide varieties, such as the Hatcher, the Fairchild, the Alfonso, and the Philippine, also known as Carabao. This is the world's sweetest mango per Guinness, and it was so tasty when we had that tasting. So cool. It was amazing that day. It was just so many mangoes, and the flavors, you guys, they're just amazing. Mangoes are incredible. As you probably can tell by now, I just love them. And there's also some dwarf varieties available. So if you have a small yard, you can consider putting one of these dwarf types in there. These will also do really well if you keep them in a large clay pot on your patio. And here's a fun fact about our Miami native Hayden mango. She is the mama to the Floragon, the Kent, the Glen, the Valencia Pride, delicious mango, the Baileys, and many more. So cool. Wonderful offspring from this one mango. Now let me talk a little bit about plant care. A healthy mango leaf structure will look like this, but if she gets some scale insects or some other insects that are sap-sucking insects, you may get sooty mold. It's not a deal breaker. You do want to control it, use neem oil or insecticidal soaps to control it, but it's not going to hinder mango production. It's just going to look a little unsightly. Natalia, what do you think of these mangoes?
They look like they would go great in a mango lassi, a mango pudding, mango cheesecake, a mango salad, mango salsa
And a mango martini.
and a mango martini.
If you have any favorite mango desserts or recipes you'd like to share, please put them in the comments section below. We'd love to know about it. So let's go check out the avocados. Hello, avocado. Hi. Avocados are pretty fast growers and they can get huge. We had a very large one at our Miami Shores home, well up to 50 foot, but others don't get as tall, so you just need to check which variety you want for your yard. The mango harvest season will run from spring into late summer. The avocado fruit has a creamy, buttery taste, but for some reason I'm not a super fan, so please don't hate me. Now as we wind our way through, look what we stumbled upon here. This is a total sidebar. This is the rainbow gum, non-fruit tree, but such a cool tree. It reminds me of Paul Gauguin when he did his famous paintings over there in Tahiti. Oh, what a beautiful tree. Just look at that bark. It really looks like that. It's crazy. It's just this kaleidoscope of color. So cool. And not to be outdone, there's another really cool tree. Oh, hey Natalia, the African baobab tree. Look at this beauty. It's not a fruit tree, but it's a massive, massive tree from Africa. Has these beautiful flowers. It's a wildlife and pollinator attractor. Really cool. Look at that trunk. Massive. Isn't that cool? And now we're at the last of our grade 8s, the guava tree. This tree I absolutely love. I also like its cousin, the strawberry guava, but both of these are considered invasive in South Florida. I tend to disagree with the botanists on this, but anyways, this tree has a wonderful fruit, has a sweet or tangy taste, but what I love about this tree, it is like the fruit that they use in the Cuban pastries, the pastelitos, the guava y queso. Oh, what a great, great dessert. I love that dessert. And now we're nearing the end, but we still have a bonus plant, the banana.
Beautiful.
Oh my goodness, right? There's quite a few varieties of bananas out there. The dwarf Cavendish is real popular. The Cavendish is the go-to banana. Here we can see a hand of bananas, as well as the male peduncle and the male bud at the terminus here. Isn't it cool looking? Banana trees are fast growers. They can get to about 20 feet to 15 feet wide, but that depends on the variety you're getting. They are not true trees in the sense they're a herbaceous plant. They have a very similar look to the whitebird of paradise, and you could use this as a substitute plant if you want to have a fruiting plant in your yard and still have this tropical feel. And now let's talk about taste. I mean, who probably hasn't had a banana in their life? These are wonderful, wonderful fruits. They taste amazing, right? They have this creamy, sweet, smooth taste, depending on how ripe they are. But, you know, like I mentioned earlier, they make great milkshakes. I love banana milkshakes, especially with mango. Such a wonderful fruit. And there we have it. If you have some fruit trees you're curious about and want to know more, just leave a comment down below and we'll see if we can make a video for you. We want to thank you all for joining us today. Natalia, did you have a good time?
It was a great time.
Yeah, we're trying to beat the rain, so thanks for joining us. And if you have any questions or thoughts, just leave them in the comments section below and we'll get back to you. Till the next video, bye.
Thank you. Stay dry.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And tell your friends and family. We post videos weekly. Thanks.